Hey, Joe, before we get into the recording, we got to talk about some logistics.
Sure thing.
All right, this is episode 285, and as far as anyone knows, we record these things in order.
Right.
All right, the week we record episode 287 for a piece of the action, I'm going to be in Wisconsin.
Why are you going to be in Wisconsin?
To see my princess.
You know what? I don't know what that means, and I don't care. What's your point?
You'll have to be both of us for the show that week.
What do you mean, both of us? I can't just do the show by myself?
No, dude, you got to think bigger, like innovatively, right? Solo podcasts happen all the time. Podcasts where one host is actually two hosts don't.
So, you want me to make this like the movie where I'm dancing both the Black and White Swan?
I think you're getting the idea.
So, like maybe I grab a wig and pretend it's a beard and pretend I'm you, as well as myself. Would you like that?
I knew you wouldn't take this seriously.
Welcome to Does This Still Work? The podcast looks at always and asks, does this still work? I'm Joe Dixon.
And I'm George Romacka. And today we're discussing Black Swan from 2010 and some historical context. First, podcasty stuff. We're excited to announce that we've joined the Creator Accountability Network. CAN is a nonprofit dedicated to reducing harassment and abuse through ethical education and a system of restorative accountability. We joined because we care about the safety and well-being of our community members. If you feel our behavior or content has harmed someone, please report it to CAN, either via the reporting form on their website, creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org, or via their hotline at 617-249-4255. They'll help us make it right and avoid repeating that mistake in the future. CAN also needs volunteers from our communities to help with their work, so if you have skills you think would be helpful, or time and a desire to help, please visit their website to find out how you can volunteer. Most importantly, get the word out to other creators who you think would be interested in getting credentialed. Help us build safer communities together. You can reach us at ttswpod@gmail.com, on Facebook, Letterboxd, and on our YouTube channel. Joe is on Blue Sky at joedixon.bsky.social. Please tell your friends about us, even the ones who repeatedly stab themselves in the face with a nail file. And leave 5-star ratings everywhere. You can pick what we watch and get extra per episode content by funding us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/ttswpod, just like the patrons did who voted on this movie. This was a slate of 3 mental health themed movies, and this was the one the patrons picked.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny you should say it. It reminded me, I completely forgot that. Not the scene with the woman stabbing herself in the face, but that I'd actually seen that recently in the movie Weapons, where the couple stabbing themselves in the face, and didn't think of it until you mentioned it.
Yeah, I'm glad I could bring that image to mind. I'm sure it's comforting.
Very much so. Good movie, Weapons. Or at least I'm saying that now. We'll see what we say when we review it in 10 years. I don't know.
10 years.
Okay, George, take us back to 2010.
And that's the way it was.
So we've got a movie about ballet with an undercurrent of mental health. We're going to focus on the ballet part because the mental health part is a real fucking downer. Joe, give us the first headline from Newsday.
Hanging up her toe shoes. Balanchine protege Darcy Kitzler puts away her tights and retires from the New York City Ballet.
That might sound like a downer of a headline, but far from it. Darcy Kitzler walked away from a 30-year ballet career of her own volition, which is almost a miracle in that world. I haven't the foggiest idea who George Balanchine is.
Oh my God. Even I know that.
But he was a ballet bigwig who handpicked Kitzler at 15 from the School of American Ballet to join the New York City Ballet. When Kitzler was 18, he made her the youngest principal dancer ever in the company, and then went ahead and died.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you do.
Yeah. Well, not long after that, Kitzler suffered an injury that got misdiagnosed as a broken ankle that kept her off the stage for a few years. In retrospect, she's grateful because she got to avoid a lot of the drama and fallout from Balanchine dying. For the next 20-something years, she danced, particularly enjoying the moments just before the shows. She also taught at the School of American Ballet. Many dancers described their retirements as a kind of death. Kistler said, "I'm not going to die. No, really. I would have loved to walk away the way I walked in, quietly. I've been saying goodbye to ballets for years. They never had to say, 'You're not good enough. I don't want you to dance that role anymore.' I knew when it was time to pass on."
Mm-hmm. Oh, good for her.
Good for her indeed. Our next story is an answer to a question nobody ever asked. Joe, give us our second headline, also from Newsday.
Battle of the Nutcrackers.
That question is, what happens if two ballet companies put on the same show in the same town at the same time? The answer is they just do that. It's like having two movie theaters playing at the same time. Both will just do that, overcharging everyone for anything snacky. So moving on, I'm getting away from New York City because I've cited Newsday for like 10 history segment stories in a row, and none of the other papers were coming up with anything. So, Joe, give us our last headline, this time from the Windsor Star of Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Far from home, families must be flexible for young ballet students to flourish.
For most in ballet, training starts as a child and often involves long periods of separation from their parents. This doesn't happen in a vacuum, and ballet schools make sure that their students' needs are taken care of. They also provide support for the parents back home and make sure there's time for the families to connect. Ballet academies also teach regular school stuff, and the students have 2 graduations, one for academics and one for ballet. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Director of Business Operations for the Royal Winnipeg Ballet School said, "You're not sending your child away, you're helping your child pursue a dream."
Mm-hmm, sure.
A beautiful bit of reframing there. And if this movie is any indication, that support system evaporates once you graduate, and you're left to fight your own demons with no mental health care insurance. I guess. So, Joe, let's talk about Black Swan.
Indeed, let's talk about Black Swan. But before we actually get into the credits, I do want to answer one question right up front, because we really don't get into it later. And what do you think is the main question people have about ballet? The average person. What is the real question that comes up all the time?
I don't know.
I think you do. The question is, why are all the dudes so huge in the package area? Why are the bulges so large? That is the question. That's a joke that's been used a million times in TV and movies, and it's a question people have. So, I will answer that question right up front. The answer is that there is a special type of belt, dance belt, or even sort of almost like a jockstrap thing the guys wear that pushes their stuff up so it's easier for them to dance. It's also good for choreography and fighting choreography and that sort of thing when you're doing movies. So that's why they got these big bulges, because the packages is pushed up against their belly.
Right, because you don't want them between your legs when you're doing lots of things where your legs are moving.
Yep.
Because that tends to, crush your nuts.
Mm-hmm. So that's why. So I hope I helped everyone there.
I'm sure you did. I never questioned that. I guess, assumed all ballet males are hung like horses.
I'm surprised. Yeah, well, a lot of people have wondered that. Anyway, let's get into who is in this movie, who directed this movie, and who wrote it.
Okay.
The director is Darren Aronofsky, and I just saw his work last night and Caught Stealing. I went to see that yesterday evening. And it was so-so.
Mm-hmm.
This is written by these 3 guys. It was Mark Heyman, Andres Hines, and John J. McLaughlin.
Mm-hmm.
For the blurbs, IMDb says Nina is a talented but unstable ballerina on the verge of stardom. Pushed to the breaking point by her artistic director and a seductive rival, Nina's grip on reality slips, plunging her into a waking nightmare.
The description of a talented but unstable ballerina just gives me, the mental image of a ballerina that's super duper flexible, but when she lifts her leg up, she falls over.
Sure, why not? YouTube says, Natalie Portman won the 2010 Best Actress Oscar for her stunning performance in this dark, psychosexual thriller directed by Darren Aronofsky. Nina Portman is a talented but unstable ballerina on the verge of stardom. Pushed to the breaking point by her artistic director, Vincent Cassel, and his seductive rival, Mila Kunis. Nina's grip on reality slips, plunging into a waking nightmare. Jesus, YouTube! You just basically IMDb'd it!
Yeah, YouTube is just the IMDb with more words.
More was telling who's starring.
More parentheticals. Yeah.
Very weird. Okay, let's get into the characters here, or at least some of the characters we're going to be discussing. We're going to discuss Nina Sayers, of course, because that is played by Natalie Portman, the star of the movie. For this podcast, we've seen Natalie in Leon the Professional, and both George and I have seen her in Thor, Thor the Dark World, Avengers Endgame, Thor Love and Thunder. For myself, I've seen her in V for Vendetta, Garden State, Mars Attacks, and Heat.
And I saw her in the Star Wars prequels and Zoolander.
Erica Sayers is played by Barbara Hershey. And for the podcast, we last saw her in The Last Temptation of Christ and Falling Down. And I've seen her in Hannah and Her Sisters and With Six You Get Egg Roll, which is from the 60s, which means I saw her as a child I only saw With Six You Get Egg Roll as a child on TV. So I first saw Barbara Hershey as a child playing a child in a movie.
And Erica Sayers is Nina Sayers' mom.
Yes, that's the mom character. Thomas Leroy is played by Vincent Cassel. He's the director. And I last saw him.
The director of he's the ballet company director, not the movie director.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And I actually saw him in a movie called Hate. And in French, it's called La Haine.
And I've heard him in Shrek.
Lily is played by Mila Kunis. And I mainly know her from Family Guy. Show I don't watch all that much, but I do know her voice from that because she's voiced the show since the very beginning. And I saw her in Ted.
And she's the seductive rival that YouTube and IMDb so helpfully pointed out.
Yes. Beth McIntyre is played by Winona Ryder. And for the podcast, we've seen her in Beetlejuice and Heathers. And I've seen her in Little Women and Star Trek, the 2009 version.
I've seen her in Edward Scissorhands, Girl Interrupted, Zoolander, Mr. Deeds, and Sim 1. And Beth McIntyre is the Darcy Kistler of this film. She's retiring way, way less gracefully than Darcy did.
Yeah, she is not pleased by her retirement.
No.
Meanwhile, I can't wait. So I don't know who people complain about being retired. I can't wait to get out of working. Anyway, okay, George, I'm going to pitch this movie to you for once.
Okay, let's do this.
All right, so this is a movie of a ballerina, I don't know if you heard that or not, who is unstable. Yep, that's all true. So we open up the film with her, I believe, going to work, right? She's on the train, and is that how it starts?
No, she's coming home. She's coming home from ballet.
Oh, right.
She's coming home from practice. She doesn't have a life outside of ballet, which is part of the problem.
Yes, and someone will try and fix that for her, and it goes awkwardly. But we'll get into that. Anyway, so, right, you're right. She's coming home to her mom, who we'll later learn is out of her freaking mind. Mom's kind of messed up, so you can see where the psychological problems started, because mom was a ballerina herself, and obviously she didn't go as far as she wanted, and later she says, it's because I had you, which is always great to tell your child. Your dreams that come true because of them. That's primo parenting, I must say. So anyway, so she gets very upset at some point. They have a bunch of arguments, and she constantly walks into her daughter's room like she's 12, something she'll complain about. Our star will complain about. And later, so anyway, so she has this relationship with her mom. Then at work, that's her home life, but her work life is, there's some turmoil at the ballerina school or studio, whatever the hell they call the shop. And there is a ballerina being pushed out. The main lady, that's Winona Ryder's character, is being pushed out. So they're looking for a new star. Winona Ryder is not happy about being pushed out. The other ballerinas are all very bitchy about it and say, oh, she's so old. We're all glad she's going. She's all old. And they're like, they're being really horrible. They don't know who's going to replace her. And they're all looking to replace her.
That's Nina.
She's like, oh, I don't think I have a chance, but I'm going to try. So she auditions for it, as does everyone else in the thing. And seemingly it doesn't go well. And she thinks she didn't get it. And then later, the artistic director invites her into his office. And he puts a move on her. After she says, I think I like this part. And he goes, I don't know if you can really do it. And then he gives her a kiss and everything. And she bites his lip and says, I can't believe you bit me. And then she just walks out without saying anything. And then later she gets the part. Because he thought that was, I don't know, hot or something. He thought that showed a real promise or some danger underneath her.
Okay, I'm going to pause you there.
Yeah.
Nina is a goody two-shoes white swan to the core. Like she is picture perfect. She is
For the White Swan
technically,
role.
yeah. As a ballerina, she is technically flawless. The problem being, she's like the house of the ballet world, the Dr. Right, the doing the job perfectly, but no emotions. So her biting him was what he saw was, oh, maybe she can dance the seductive, mischievous Black Swan after all, because she does have a little bit of fight in her. So that's what happened there.
Right. So anyway, so all that happens, and her supposed rival, Mila Kunis,
New girl in town from San Francisco.
New girl in town, just got hired, and is actually very nice. Although Portman doesn't take it that way. She thinks she just wants to take her spot, but I don't get the impression that's what she wants. I think she's just there to support.
Yeah, we'll get into why I think everything happens.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, she invites her. At one point, she invites her out. So hey, because they have a misunderstanding and everything. So she's like, hey, come on, let's be nice. Let me take you out to dinner, whatever, and we'll hang out. She's like, I don't want to eat. Well, let's go out and have a drink, whatever. So they go out. And while they're out, they're at this party. We don't mention him because he's a very minor character, but we get to see one of the Avengers there at the bar they go to. We get to, who was it? The Winter Soldier is there. Of course, is the actor, not the actual Winter Soldier.
Right.
But anyway, so they're out partying. They run into these guys, and seemingly they're going to hook up with these guys, but they don't. And then later, Portman seemingly takes Mila Kunis back to her place, and they have sex. Much to the mom's disagreement, because mom's like, "What are you doing? Go, you're performing tomorrow." But she ignores mom because, "Mom, leave me alone. I'm an adult."
This is after Mila Kunis' character slips ecstasy into Natalie Portman's character's drink.
Well, she doesn't slip it.
Natalie Portman. Well, no, she's putting it in there without her knowledge. She doesn't but Natalie Portman sees her putting it in there, and then just sort of calls her out on it. And then drinks it anyway, which I don't know what sure. Okay, that happened.
I got the impression she was putting that in her own drink.
No. She was trying to loosen her friend up.
And loosen up she was. And seemingly she goes back to have sex with maybe somebody, or maybe not. We'll get into that. But anyway, so the next day...
Well, no,
next day she wakes up and no one's there.
Yeah, Mila Kunis' character actually goes home with somebody else. Not with Natalie.
Not with Natalie Portman. She says, because Natalie goes back to the studio. She's late, and she's very upset. Her mother doesn't wake her up to get to the rehearsal. So she gets there, and she runs into Mila Kunis. She goes like, hey, we were together last night. What happened? Well, you just leave like that? And she goes like, we weren't together last night. What are you talking about? Did you have a fantasy about me? Was I any good? So she's actually in good spirits about it. She doesn't, she's not weird about it. And Portman's the one who's actually acting very strange. Anyway, so that happens. And they go off and they do the rehearsal, and the director's being a real asshole to her. And that's, that's one of the reasons they had to fight, because of the Mila Kunis and Portman had to fight. It's because Mila went to the director and said, hey, don't be such a bastard to her. And apparently he took that the wrong way and decided to take it out on Portman, whatever. So anyway, so Portman's trying to be harder. And she's having all sorts of hallucinations. She's seeing pictures talking and all this other stuff. She's completely losing it. Meanwhile, there is the Winona Ryder's character the woman who got pushed out as a dancer. She's, as I said, not very happy about this. And she confronts the artistic director, Cassell, and says, hey, you're a real son of a bitch, and how dare you? And she also confronts Natalie Portman and says, hey, what are you doing, sucking his dick? And Natalie Portman says, not all of us have to. Which, actually, I'm not so sure that's true. But anyway, she brushes the door off. And so, in revenge to herself, for some reason, rather than, I thought... It's weird because I'd seen the movie before, so I thought for sure, but for some reason back in my head was like, oh, she's going to confront them at his place or something. But she never does that. Instead, she runs out and throws herself into traffic and busts up her legs, making sure she can never dance again. That's what Ryder's character did to herself, which is insane. Like, how do you hurting anybody but yourself doing that? Go after the dude. That would have made more sense. But anyway, so that's what happens there. Portman goes to visit her and sees that her legs are busted up and knows she'll never dance again, which is very frustrating to, just shocked. Because the Portman really thought she loved her. She was a very good, she looked up to her. She thought she was a terrific dancer. So
Portman's character was also a klepto that was stealing her stuff.
Yes,
and she returns all the items that she stole from Winona Ryder's character.
To be fair.
And she's like, you stole my stuff?
To be fair, they were left in the dressing room. So if she wasn't going to use them, why couldn't someone else take them? I mean, was it even her property? She could have gone back and got them at any time. She actually left them there. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So, and later on, Portman had
before she leaves...
Right, she leaves up. She puts down this stuff that you say she stole from the dressing room.
Mm-hmm. One of them things being a nail file.
A nail file that they used to cut up shoes, which I couldn't quite understand. Because can't you buy ballet shoes already made together? Why did they have to? Because early in the scene, we have it where they're tucking the shoes apart, if you remember.
They dismantle their shoes because the shoes are designed to be safe. And to do ballet, you need to push past what your body can do.
Understood. But I'm saying
they have to fuck up the shoes so that they can do the dances that they have to do.
No, I get that. I'm just wondering, why don't they just make ballet shoes for that particular reason? But apparently not. You got to make them yourself.
Yeah, it's like a lightsaber. You're not really a ballet dancer until you fuck up and create your own shoes.
I guess so. So anyway, that's what shoes. That's the knife. One around starts taking the knife, starts sticking it in her face, and Portman goes, and runs out of the hospital room. Did that really happen? We don't know. It's possible it did happen. Possible it didn't. It's unclear.
It happened to us, the audience. We saw it.
The audience saw it, but we don't know if anyone else saw it and if it actually really did happen. Portman goes back home, confronts her mom. Her mom's like, "Oh, you're really losing it. I don't think you should be doing this. This role is too strong for you. Blah blah blah." And of course, Portman's like, "What are you talking about? Nonsense!" And they have a bit of a fight. And then the mother tries to lock almost. We haven't seen this movie together, and I don't know. Have you ever seen Carrie?
No.
Carrie's
on purpose.
Another movie where the mother's nuts and the daughter's being abused by her, and she also tried to keep her daughter home from the prom. In this case, this woman is trying to keep her daughter home from her dance, big dance moment, and even takes the handle of the door and sits on it so she won't get in. Of course, the daughter figures it out, gets her off the seat, and gets the handle back on, and runs out.
Mom is really bad at hiding that thing.
She is very bad at hiding. Well, the mom is really bad at a lot of things, including, if you remember... Momming, 100% bad. That at one point, after it looks like Portman's going to get the role, her mother buys a huge cake. Which, of course, because Portman's got to stay in shape. She can't eat this thing.
I wanted to see Will Ferrell show up and yell at the cake like it does in The Office.
And so the mother gives slices. And Portman says, "Hey, that's just too big." And Barbara Hershey, the mother, goes fucking nuts. Takes the cake. Goes, "Oh, if I put it in the trash, I'll just put the whole thing in the trash." I'm like, "Oh, no, Mom, it's okay. It's okay." Which,
by the way, you can stay in shape and have a piece of cake.
Yeah, but she, make just a little slice.
She can eat that. She can have a huge fucking slice. That one slice of cake, you can eat that entire fucking cake. It is not, that will not, the damage we do that makes us get big is over time, not one thing.
I guess. I mean, but she obviously she didn't want the freaking thing.
Right.
Point. And the mother should have respected that, or at least just got for a little slice, and that's it. Anyway, she gets to the show, and she's doing great, and then she has an hallucination, and causing the guy who was holding her up to drop her at one point. And it looks like the show is disaster. It looks like, oh my God, this is horrible. Everyone freaks out. Everyone's very upset. But she gets it together. And then Mila Kunis comes by and says, "Hey, I'm taking your spot." And they get into a fight. And Portman stabs her with a piece of glass from the mirror.
From a broken mirror.
Fight.
Yeah.
And then
hides the body in the bathroom.
Yes. Puts a towel down with the blood is coming out from under the thing and goes like, "I'm getting ready now for the Black Swan." And she goes out, she's a terrific Black Swan. She's fantastic and suddenly saves the show. Everyone's going blood, huge floors. Everyone goes bananas. She goes back to her dressing room to change back to her White Swan outfit. And lo and behold, there's no body there. And Mila Kunis comes to the door and goes like, "Hey, I just want to say...
great.
You did great. You were fantastic." I was shocked. My breath was taken away how awesome you were. And of course, Portman's like, "Huh?" Because, "Didn't I just murder you? I don't understand." Turns out she didn't murder her. But anyway, she gets herself together. And also, she starts turning into a bird. I forgot that part. She's... Which has got to be a hallucination, right? She suddenly thinks she's a bird. Anyway.
Yes. Like when her legs buckle backwards like bird legs, and yeah.
And she becomes
and when she's pulling feathers out of her arm.
Yes. And out of her back at one point.
But, so she comes back to change it the way it runs in the Miracle, and hey, you did great. And then she notices that she's bleeding from the abdomen. So she did stab somebody.
It was herself.
It was herself.
Which is what they say, right? You're only hurting yourself. In this case, she really did. But show must go on. So she goes out, manages to hide that she's bleeding, goes up, does her terrific performance. Everyone's very... And at one point, since at the end of the Swan Lake, you have to fall off this thing, and so she falls and she lands on a mattress, and it's just terrific applause, and then people run over like, "Oh, you were fantastic!" And then they see the blood coming out of her, and she's bleeding out, and the director goes like, Theodore, he goes, "Hey, somebody get some help! Get some help!" And people run off, and people are just freaking out, and Natalie Portman goes like, "I was perfect," and that was the end.
Yep.
So, George, did I sell you on it?
I think we need to change our approach to this and stop trying to sell each other the movie. Because
we don't do it.
we don't do it. We're not good at that. But we're kind of good at describing movies. Kind of.
Let's get into discussion here. So,
okay.
Here's the thing that has nothing to do with the movie, but I do want to ask this. What was the last ballet you saw in real life?
0. I've never watched a ballet in real life.
You didn't even take for your kids? None of your kids were into ballet?
No.
They had a show in school?
Nope. I had 3 children. None of them were into ballet.
Okay. All right. The last one I saw was, I guess, last summer at...
Now I know what you did last summer.
You know what I did last summer? I may have been in Lincoln... No, it wasn't at Lincoln Center. I forget where it was. I was a date. It was her idea. And so we went. And of course, as it would have... All my dates, there was not a second one.
Joe.
Anyway, but the show was like, I don't get it. It's so interesting because according to sitcom rules, the fact that I don't like ballet must mean I like sports, but I don't like sports either. So I'm neither a sports fan nor a ballet fan. So I fit no stereotypes in the sitcom world. Because in sitcom world, I really should like at least one of those things. If I like ballet, I must hate sports. And if I like sports, I must hate ballet. And I find them equally uninteresting. They're both very boring to me. But the show I went to see they had a lot of younger kids there, I think, because they were graduating from some ballet school. So it was like is it called a recital for ballet? I don't know. But it was like a thing for students all been trained, and they were from across the country, and they were all very good. But I don't care about people. I like dancing. If I'm up there, I'll be dancing. But watching someone else do it, especially ballet, I like, you know what type of dance I like? I like swing dancing, where everybody's throwing each other up in the air. That's fun to me. Not that they don't pick people up in ballet, but you know what I mean. I mean,
you've said it. I might as well give my piece too. I'm also not a fan of ballet. It doesn't touch me. It doesn't speak to me. It just doesn't. And I can't make myself like it or care about it.
Yeah, it's not interesting. I find it boring. It really doesn't work. All right. Next question. What genre does this film belong in, do you think?
Writ large, drama. Slightly more specific, tragedy.
I would say psychological drama. That'd be the genre of psychological drama. It's sort of, it was labeled like horror somewhat, and...
I think saw it labeled a psychological thriller.
Yeah, it's not a thriller at all.
It's not a thriller. Because the call is coming from inside the house the entire time.
All in her head. You know who was a thriller? Michael Jackson.
Thriller!
But this wasn't a thriller. What do you suppose is the cause of Nina's, that's Natalie Portman's, mental problems?
I can't answer that any more than our species can answer that about mental health in general. It's some part genetics, some part environment, some part upbringing. We know her mom wasn't great. We know she was in a pressure cooker of a situation. We know she dedicated her life to that. But also, she was suffering from depression, anxiety, and paranoid schizophrenia. So, Your guess is as good as mine. You know where her mental problems came from? You know where her mental health problems came from? The writer who wrote this.
I think her main problems are her mom, and then yes, the high pressure situation doesn't help. Also, since she's also obviously very repressed, because at one point the director tells her she should masturbate. Something, by the way, well, we'll get into the director, but yeah, it tells her she should masturbate. Apparently, something that she doesn't do. At least the way the film is shot seems to imply this is something she's never tried before, which is, well, as a man, I guess that sounds alien to me. But speaking of the director, is there any way, if this had been a sequel or something, or happened later, this guy wouldn't have been Me Too'd? Is he not an absolute predator?
He is absolutely a predator, but I think that's there are some fields where it's sort of tolerated, and I feel like ballet's one of them, and I don't know why I feel like that. Probably because even in the story that we read, that nice lady that retired married the director of the ballet. So it happened. I mean, you work in close proximity to people, sometimes shit happens. I get it. It's not like everybody involved here is adults, so that it's not like, a school situation where you have a minor and an adult, or even a college situation, but there is a power dynamic there. So,
the power dynamic is what I'm exactly zeroing in on. Yeah, he grabs her at one point. I mean, it's one thing if we're doing a scene like, I'm directing a scene and we got a kiss in the scene. Okay, that's fine. He grabs her. There was no consent here. And starts smooching on her like, what the fuck? And he does it more than once in this goddamn picture. He would be Me Too, and he should totally be. This is not directing. I've directed stuff. Somehow I imagine not put my tongue down the actors' throats. It's not okay. Not okay. I don't get it. We're all adults here. Don't fucking do that, you asshole. And of course, I think he also sort of like zeroed in on a woman who was, he knew wouldn't complain. Number one, she's very meek and mild. And also she wasn't involved with someone, because I'm sure if she was married or had a boyfriend, he didn't ask if she has a boyfriend. She had a boyfriend and he wouldn't have pulled that shit, because he knows
somebody's going to come for his ass.
Yeah, someone's going to come kick his ass. So he knows in the back of his mind what he's doing is wrong. Because if he thought it was just artistic directing, then we're like, who cares if you're married or you have a boyfriend? It's not about that. Yeah, bullshit. Okay. Is Lily, Mila Kunis, a villain or just someone Nina is taking the wrong way?
The latter.
Yeah,
I think you could play maybe not. She kind of tried to roofie her friend. That's not great, but it was also, man, I'm trying to get my friend to loosen up, and it was a no harm no foul because friend saw the thing and was like, so you put stuff in my drink. What's this gonna do? And then drank it. So, I think like ultimately the final nail in that coffin was her showing up after the Black Swan thing and be like, I just wanted to say you fucking killed it out there. It was amazing. Because that's Lily. That's the person that Nina's character has been like scared of this entire time. So, yeah, Nina's mental health made Lily out to be a villain. She wasn't.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, she's obviously she's actually a very nice person, very supportive, trying to help people out. She's not a monster. She's certainly not trying to take anyone's place. I mean, she would have taken the role of ass, obviously, but she wasn't trying to replace anybody. If you knew a person like Nina in real life and you knew about these issues she was having, what would you advise her to do?
Oh, I don't know, Joe. I didn't have anybody in my life with paranoid schizophrenia when I was a kid.
Yeah, but
I did not go to my grandparents and be like, can we Baker Act my mother because she needs fucking help? So when she had a heart attack and the doctor was like, she's really fucking paranoid, we're going to slip her some shit, I was like, God fucking finally, holy shit. I would absolutely be like, hun, you need to go see a fucking doctor. This isn't, you're going to kill yourself. You are on a road to suicide. Yes, I would not. I absolutely would just like And if they absolutely refuse to get help, I'd be like, I can't be your friend because I can't watch you do this.
Yeah, the obvious answer is, you need help, honey. You need to go see somebody. You can keep doing your ballet. You can still be under this high-pressure situation if you want to.
But maybe take some fucking Lexapro. Like, the ending on this, your next question, right? We'll read your next question, and we'll keep going.
Would you say the ending is a win, or does she lose everything?
She fucking dies, Joe. She loses everything.
Well, does she? I think that's an open question.
No, that's what the whole thing going white was her dying. She bleeds out right the fuck there. Like, that's the end of the movie, is she dies.
I think it's ambiguous.
I don't think it's ambiguous. I think if it's supposed to be ambiguous, then I feel very much the same way I did about Stranger Than Fiction, in that the movie lost its fucking cojones and refused to do what it had to do. Because I think she had, like, the White Swan dies.
Yes.
That's the ballet. Like, she inhabited both roles to such an extreme that she dies at the end. Like, that's the tragedy of this, is that she did this perfect performance that she'll never do again because she's not going to draw another fucking breath. And it could have been avoided if she just fucking got some help. Like, some lorazepam would have fucking prevented this shit.
It's just interesting. But then again, if you look at all the characters, it doesn't make sense that no one suggests this to her. No one says to her, because she really has no friends. And her mother is just off on her own, would probably need some
not getting mental help. Yeah, because that's not a thing that she was taught was an avenue to go down. And there is in some, like, in art, there's this idea that you have to suffer for art. And that pushes a lot of people in the arts away from getting mental health treatment because, like, oh no, I don't want to lose my creativity. I'll tell you what, getting mental health treatment is what enables me to be an artist, because I couldn't if I was fucking depressed all the time. I wouldn't have the energy to, I don't know, do a podcast or do a cabaret. I spent today arranging a fucking song. I couldn't do it. Like, I tried doing that shit when I was depressed and anxious, and I couldn't.
Yeah, I think, and I've also heard the whole, hey, if I get mental health, I'll lose my artistic edge and whatever. I can't remember the name of the writer, and I'm not even going to try and do their quote, but what they basically said was, like, going to a doctor's is what you're basically saying. It helped them be a better artist, made them focus, helped them deal with their issues, rather than, oh, I'm suffering from art, or just taking me longer to write my book. It's taking me longer to get my work done, which is not good.
I can harken back to Stranger Than Fiction. If that fucking author just got a fucking Prozac, she might have finished that book sooner.
Well, her whole thing seemed to be she wanted to go as slow as possible. I don't know. That's not even that movie. It's terrible. This movie was not terrible. Let's say right up front, because we're at the end of this discussion, does it still work? And I'm going to say yes, this still works 100%. Very, very strong movie. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, I am a heterosexual man. I mostly remember it for the lesbian scene, but overall, it's still a strong movie.
Yeah, I'm going to say it works because not for nothing, everybody in this movie is a fantastic actor.
Yes.
And they acted the shit out of this movie. Natalie Portman, holy fucking shit. Boy, can she dance. And, like, it takes skill to, like, she's a really good dancer. She doesn't in reality have the problem of being too, like, perfect and uptight about anything. It takes a lot of acting chops to act like that, and then to act like the opposite of that.
Yes, and she was not a ballerina. Or she'd never balleted before, apparently. She did it just for this role. Her and Milena Kunis, but had to take ballet classes before they went to the set to perform. So, just sure, everyone, just a fantastic acting job. Really, really strong. Material's good. I don't think anything's dated in it.
No, and I really do think there is a good, like, question. Like, I don't think most people are going to ask that question. Like, could this tragic ending have been avoided with I need one more. I've mentioned 3 different antidepressants. Mirtazapine. Like, could that have headed this one off? I wish more people would take that lesson away from it. Like, maybe my life wouldn't be such a fucking train wreck if I got some help. But because it's never brought up in the movie. Like, the only thing you see is Winona Ryder's character in inpatient care and still stabbing herself in the face, which may or may not have been a hallucination. So, yeah.
I'm going to guess it was a hallucination, if only because someone would have.
I mean, she already
said, oh my God, she's in the hospital and she started stabbing herself in the face. It would have been mentioned by the other performers.
I mean, the other performers were the ones who knew that she got hit by traffic.
Yes.
Like, that came on a cell phone call somehow to a student.
Well, they aren't students.
Not a student, but a dancer.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a strong movie. I assume you also think it still works.
Yeah.
Yes. So a good movie, strong movie. Thank you, audience, for picking this film. I don't say that often. Sometimes you guys pick some real doozies, but this one was really good. So this was a Patron's Choice episode, and the poll for next month's film is already up on Patreon. The choices are What's Up, Doc from 1972, Bean from 1997, and Borat from 2006. All comedies. If you want to vote but are not a patron, you can fix that by becoming one at patreon.com/DTSWpod.
What's the theme, Joe?
The theme is broad comedy, and it's not what George thought when he saw the title of that Patreon post, which is comedy with women in the lead roles. It's whatever you actually meant.
Whatever you actually meant.
That's what you wrote.
That's what I wrote.
What you wrote. I was just going for comedy.
Just like a broad swath of comedy. Right. Okay.
Right. Because What's Up, Doc is a homage to screwball comedies from the 1930s, which I'm sure you've never seen any. Bean is a comedy, almost a throwback to silent era comedy, because Bean doesn't talk a lot, although in the movie he does. And the TV, there's a UK TV show where he does it. And Borat is vulgar comedy. It just goes way, way over the top. So, but it's very broad. In each, I found very funny at the time. I've seen all of these. I assume you've seen none of these, George.
No, I actually have not seen any of those.
Yes. That's a theme in itself.
Mm-hmm.
George, right. What's up next?
Next week, we'll be talking about Big Daddy from 1999.
Which is also a comedy. Or at least,
arguably,
some people. So I guess after this episode, I'm Joe Dixon. Thanks for listening.
And I'm George Romaka. Thanks for listening indeed, because if a podcast drops and there's nobody around to hear it, it's just another collection of ones and zeros that doesn't matter.
You've been listening to Does This Still Work? Produced by Joe Dixon and George Romaka. This content is CAN credentialed, which means you can report instances of harassment, abuse, or other harm on their hotline at 617-249-4255 or on their website at creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org. The hosts can be reached via social media, email, or the contact page at dtswpod.com. Be good to yourself and others, because that still works.
And what's the stars? What's the character's name?
Lily?
Lily, you're right, or whatever her real name is. Lily. Let me see. Natalie Portman. Lily.
Oh, that's not Lily.
But first, let's talk about your vacation.
So, from No Stupid Questions, what happened to me today when a young boy tapped his phone against my purse on a walk? From Stupid Questions, if I have heated the food for a few minutes every 2 hours, would it never go bad? From Random Questions, if you had to delete one food from existence forever, what would you choose and why? So, from No Stupid Questions, would STIs be eliminated if everyone stopped having sex for 100 years? Why does video games cause violence? Never try to blame Japan for making lots of video games. How do you start loving yourself more?